Are we doing this?
No, we'll do what we did backstage.
Okay, do this.
Duh.
Duh.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, hanging out this afternoon. I hope everybody's having a great time at Ship. I'm so excited to be joined by Vanessa from Shopify. Welcome to the Ship stage, officially.
It is incredible to be here. Also, I have never seen such a coordinated team. Like, I came in and I was like, wow, everyone is wearing black. And I was like, that's wild.
I asked how she thought the conference was going so far, and she said, it's okay, it's a little buttoned up for me.
I was like, you're wearing a dress shirt. And I don't know, at Shop, we're a bit more casual, so.
You guys are a little more laid back than us?
A little bit more laid back,
Shots
I guess.
fired. All right, Shopify and Vercel have been partners for a really long time. We have some mutual customers, brands like Ruggable, Page, AG1. They've all been running headless Shopify on Vercel for years. One of my favorite examples is actually Topps Collectibles. They drop a new collectible, traffic spikes 40x, and it's no problem for either of our platforms.
What's the latest top you bought?
The latest
drop. Like,
collectible I
what
bought?
was the last collectible you got?
You put me on the spot in a really mean way, and I resent you for it.
You said it was your favorite.
My favorite story from the team. We're not done.
Okay.
Our teams have been cooking.
I'm sure you're gonna grill me, yes.
I'm gonna grill you now because of that comment. We've been cooking on some really exciting improvements to our platforms.
Yeah.
Do you wanna share a little bit about what we've been building together?
Yeah, so I mean, we've been watching each other, not even that much from the sidelines, for almost, half a decade now.
At least.
And we had a lot of customers that were on Vercel, and they were doing really well with Next, and they liked being with Vercel, but when it came to integrating with Shopify, I don't know if you guys know, but building for commerce is not as simple as it seems. Everything from when an item is sold out, and the large is sold out, but how do you know that the color picker above, it should adjust to the next available variant. These are all like inside baseball things that we optimize for, and we all take for granted in the world of like being a consumer because we made it so easy, right? Similar to our checkout, right?
And it works every time.
And it works every time.
Reliable.
It's like infrastructure now for the way we live our lives and how we buy, but that's not so easy to get right off the bat. And so we looked at Hydrogen. Our goal has always been to support developers in building what they want to do, right? And Hydrogen started off with more of a full stack approach. We did the entirety of the framework, back end, front end. We were very opinionated across the board because performance is extremely important in e-commerce. We all know landing on a PDP and directly getting like time to first byte within like milliseconds is extremely important to conversion. And so we decided, okay, to revisit 5 years later, with Hydrogen and said, okay, let's boil Hydrogen down to just the core components that are actually really hard, right? And we have a storefront API, and a lot of the merchants were struggling with things like analytics, how do I get that right, how to get cart, and how do we make sure that cart is actually like an optimistic cart. I don't know if anyone appreciates these details, if you want to nerd out, but like when you add things to cart, we actually have to do a call to the back end to make sure that there's inventory, to make sure there's a discount code that you can apply, and then it comes back. But you have to get an optimistic like reaction as a user to say, oh, add it to cart, right?
Optimistic updates.
Optimistic UI is important there. And so we basically distilled all of that, and we said, okay, you should be able to bring any back end, right? So you should be able to bring any framework, right? So for a lot of folks who are using Next, this will work really well. And we'll just basically boil Hydrogen down to the components that are hard. And then so now, instead of like Hydrogen or Next, is now Hydrogen and Next, which is great for.
Finally.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a long time in the making, so you guys actually officially announced this week.
Yes, we did.
Dodds, we can ship the tweet now to the blog post. There you are. Yeah, it's it. We're out. Hydrogen and Next. I mean, it's always been possible, but it's been pretty hacky. So what's different?
Yeah, like everything from even GDPR. Like we don't even go into like analytics. Our poor friends who like try and clobber together, Next and Vercel, and then like, okay, let's try and marry it with Shopify in the past. They couldn't even get analytics on their store, right? Because it wouldn't work for them. So now all of that is seamless, and then it's also very easy to deploy into Vercel from whatever CLI you're using.
Any Shopify merchants in the audience here? Okay.
Oh, what's up?
This is great. We didn't know if you were coming to see Vanessa or if you were coming because you're a Shopify merchant. We're glad that we have some merchants here. Have any of you tried to use Shopify plus Next.js? Okay. I'm looking at you in the front now. You're the chosen one. And how has the experience of deploying a Next.js front end to your Shopify app historically been? Okay, so you avoided using hydrogen in the past, and that's how you made it work. Thank you very much. That was the point we wanted to make.
Yeah.
And now it is dramatically easier. Our team's been working together on it. And one of the things I love about this is that it goes beyond the frameworks and the platforms. There are more exciting tools that we can now use because these things are working really well together. It's a leading question, but where am I going next?
Maybe V and a 0?
Yeah, a V and a 0. Mm-hmm. We recently released the Shopify integration for Vercel Marketplace. So now you can actually prompt your way to a store. It's a lot easier. That store will use Next.js on top of headless Shopify, and everything just works seamlessly. So what does this type of thing unlock in your mind?
I mean, for us, we've always kind of been about developers. Tobi is a huge developer. A lot of us have started stores in the past and built stores, whether it's on Liquid, our hosted platform, or headless. We've always been about enabling developers to build for brands. But I think the thing that I love about this, like us coming together, is now it's not like a choice that people have to go down. It's like, okay, am I going to use Liquid or am I going to? It's a lot more, okay, use the tools that you want. Because at the end of the day, like our core belief is that when it comes to e-commerce, brands and the way you express yourself, the internet is all about expressing yourself, right? No matter whether you're selling collectibles, if you're selling vitamins, like people eventually just want to buy from a brand that they trust, right? And that goes into all the little details. And so we want to enable all the developers out there to have control over absolutely everything that they want to express that brand.
One of the things I love about Shopify is you guys sort of delegate trust to the merchants. So I know that I can trust the Shopify brand. I've bought things with Shop Pay, more times than I can admit, and just clicking that Shop Pay button, just everything works so seamlessly.
Yes.
And it sort of reminds me of recently we had an engineering onboarding class, and one of the new engineers at Vercel asked me, well, our CTO Malta just got done saying code is free now. So if code is free, what's the new moat? And off the cuff, I kind of had this answer, which was a few things. I think it's actually restraint is actually part of it. So judgment, knowing what to build, what not to build. No, not taste.
Oh, not taste.
I'm so sick of the
word
taste is
taste?
the new moat. Everybody just wants to say taste is the new moat.
I know. If you want to say they're a taste maker, it just seems the most amorphous thing.
We're not cursing, but it's obnoxious.
Yeah, it is a bit.
I said, sort of judgment, deciding what to build, execution, all the stuff around it. But one of the most important things is trust. So when you need something new that you don't have yet, where do you get it from? And generally, we get it from those that we can trust. So what I love about Shopify is that it has delegated its trust out to all of these merchants that I would not otherwise have experienced.
Yeah.
But it didn't really start there, right? Like, I really want to get into this. I watched this video, probably on LinkedIn, that's weird. But I watched a video on LinkedIn, which is an interview with Tobi. And Tobi was talking about, when the initial TAM for Shopify was too small, so investors wouldn't invest.
Yeah, the IPO. This? Yeah, it was like, it was early on in our IPO journey, and Tobi was trying to get, I guess, institutional investors to start investing. So this is like probably 2014. And it was really tough for us. Even when I've been at Shopify now for a decade, and I remember celebrating our 200,000th merchant with like balloons, and we were so excited. And now, like fast forward 10 years, we have millions. But the point that he was making to the investors is like the tools actually end up shaping the market dramatically. So in the past, we didn't have that many merchants, or the TAM wasn't that big because the opportunity was limited by the friction of the tools. It was really hard to get started. It was really hard to start an e-commerce site. And so if we can just make that easier, just like more people will reach for that tool and there will be more entrepreneurs. And this was probably the most, I think he probably didn't, he believed it fully, but I think it was hard for the people in the room to see that. But I think that's like resonated true every time at Shopify. It's like, no, there is a resourcefulness in the general population that's just untapped. If you make it easier for them to create, the natural inclination for humans is to create things.
So this is one of the reasons I think that Vercel and Shopify go so well together. We just really have a shared history of reducing friction.
Yes.
I remember the first time I did git push and it turned into a production URL live on Vercel, and I was just blown away, absolutely blown away. And I was kind of late to the game. Everybody had been doing this for years, and I was like, what have I been wasting my time on? I had my own VPS, I managed SFTP, I would build things locally and then deploy them. Sometimes they wouldn't work the right way. And so that reducing friction, I think, actually brought so many more builders online in the same way that reducing friction to a storefront brought so many more merchants online.
Yes.
So we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep reducing friction. And now we have better ways to use Shopify with Next.js, with Vercel.
Yeah.
What do you think that unlocks?
Like, what's our next thing? What's our next TAM expansion?
Yeah.
This is, I've told this story internally a lot. If I was a betting person, so this is like a bit of a thesis that I put out there, and we'll see, like maybe we'll meet in a year from now, and we'll see if it turned out. I think that we are on the brink of, as code is becoming more reachable for people who are not necessarily quote unquote developers, right? And as a React developer and as a robotics engineer, I like, this pains me a little bit because I'm like, oh, like we went through so much hardship to learn how to code, C++ and then JavaScript, and then now it's like just words. But at the end of the day, like the thing that is incredible is I talked to our team about this because we actually built something recently called the catalog, right? So the catalog is essentially a product search API. For those of you who have ever built anything on the internet, you know that there's actually not a good product search API in the world at the moment that's open for you to use. And so we decided to make one. We have enough products now. We have billions of products. We have millions of merchants. And so we said, cool, let's just do it. And so we created the first shopping, not the first, but currently the only widespread shopping API, and it's optimized for commerce. So it has everything from like, okay, well, this is a shirt, and there's 4 retailers that sell this shirt at different prices. That clustering is actually not very easy to do. And it comes in these options. It has colors, it has sizes, and it's all formatted properly across billions of variants. This actually took us years of investment to build. And then we now offer it to anyone out on the internet. It's actually not even gated behind a bearer token or anything, so you can just use it. And the goal there was to empower the next wave of creatives. So when I think about what has been we're about to go on a TED Talk, by the way. So
let's go.
Be ready.
I mean, we're all here for it. They all didn't you see the show of hands? They all came to see you.
When I think about retail and commerce, and if you go all the way back, like trade, it has always been about like, hey, Tom, like I have this thing. Do you want this thing? And you're like, yeah, I do. Okay.
But only if I trust you.
But only if you trust me. And then the other thing is humans are inherently very lazy, right? And so not only do I want to find the best products, it's like I'm kind of lazy to find it. I'm not going to like go out in the world and walk around and find all the shops. I'm just going to be like, yo, Tomo's cool. What does he like? He likes Todd's collectibles.
Most of the time I like
Pop's collectibles.
Listen to a friend I trust.
Exactly.
Tell me what to get, yeah.
So like the mixture of we are lazy and the fact that we inherently want to, we need to like, we buy things because of many reasons, but a lot of times, like, who do I trust that has this? Like, it's a relay of like trust, right? I think that in the past, we've seen these big waves in commerce every time that the technology has changed. So social changed things. Right? Now everyone has a camera in their pocket. Now video editing becomes easier, content changes. So, okay, now I can follow Tomo on many social platforms and see what products he likes, right? That's great. That's another way of discovery. I think that, and I'm very excited about this future, I think that in the future that developers or people who are acting like developers will become that. So I think about things like, I am a runner and I live in a neighborhood called Leaside in Toronto. And so I'm part of the Leaside running group. And someone in our running group decided to use Claude Code and create a website. It has a leaderboard. It has like the weather coming up. And so with the catalog, they're able to then say, okay, well, you can also craft like, the radius of the stores that you want and the universe of the amount of shops. And so it says all the Toronto stores around Leaside within a 50-kilometer radius, right? You could do global, you can do this. And then we say, I want to put that in the app in the web app as a suggestion based on the upcoming weather report of products that you can buy from merchants around the neighborhood, right? And so that is possible through the catalog API. And when you think about where software is going, it's so much more about, okay, can we build more niche applications that are bespoke made? So internally, we've been loud about this, but we have a tool called Quick, right? It's a way for you to just launch an internally guarded website. And so people have been just enormously creating these kind of throwaway applications, but so useful at communicating and understanding and pulling people together on projects.
It's literally why we created the Enterprise Apps and Agents platform. The market was telling us, we need this, the thing that you guys have been doing for forever. Every company on earth needs that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that there's just a next gold rush wave of changing how people think about buying, and then also changing what e-commerce means. It's not just e-commerce websites and then web applications.
That's right.
We're going to see it with the right tools, right? Again, with the catalog API, you will start to see people embedding shopping into what was traditionally known as web apps.
That's right.
Right.
So I love this idea of commerce not being its own destination, but it being part of the fabric of sort of everything you do online.
Yes.
Aided by agents, powered by some of the tools that we shared today, and the catalog API.
And the catalog API.
Yeah.
And then so I actually internally did this exercise. I think I sent it to your team. But we internally told designers, go, because they're quite technical at Shopify, but I told them, I was go build some really cool shit. Right?
Any guardrails or just
no
whatever?
Guardrails. I was I don't know. You guys are designers. You guys are way more plugged in than I am, right? What's cool right now with the kids?
Nice.
Go build a web app for that and then try and use the catalog with the kids. Yeah. I don't know anything. So do you want to roll it? Do you want to show it?
There's a video. Let's tee up the video of the demos of some of the things they built. Inevitably using some of the Vercel agent stack, the catalog API.
Yeah. The
Any of them deploy on Next.js headless to Hydrogen?
I think some of them were using Hydrogen and may have deployed to Vercel, but AI SDK was one of the libraries I think that was used. But they were just able to create these amazing experiences. My favorite was a horoscope app. I guess horoscopes are cool. A horoscope app that based on your horoscope, it was okay, well, Tomo, you're a Capricorn. What are you? Do you know?
I'm a Cancer.
Cancer, okay.
Yeah, my birthday is actually next week.
Oh my gosh, happy early birthday.
Should be good.
But you're a Cancer. Maybe you're about to enter a season that's kind of sad. So maybe you want Maybe Perfect. You want a candle to help you through it. Or there was one up there you saw you could upload and shop from whatever old school TV show was your favorite. You enter it, and so there's just stuff like that. This is not what people would traditionally think of as an e-commerce site.
I mean, I saw a demo yesterday of Pippin, which was one of the ones up there. Hopefully you can show the video again. And Ben on your team he's just talking to Pippin and describing something that he was looking for using obviously voice, real-time API. And it was I want a game.
It found a dino.
And you were impatient. It kept asking, it was more, I want to be more specific. I want to really get it right. And she's just tell it to pick one. Yeah. And he's Pippin, just pick one. It's all right, here's the game. And it was this scary dinosaur game, perfect for 2 to 4 players with a 5-year-old. Yeah. It was exactly what and all built on top of this tech stack.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, bug me afterwards and we'll show you. Yeah.
I'll show you a live demo.
Yeah.
I would love to show the video one more time if it's queued up, because some of these demos were really impressive. And this was the equivalent of sort of
It's very
hackathon.
Fast.
Oh, it's a very fast video.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do the
bug me
afterwards
and I'll show some of it live.
The future is bright. I'm so excited that we're continuing to reduce the friction to getting stores online, because I think what that means is that stores aren't going to necessarily just be the destination anymore. Again, commerce is going to become part of the fabric of everything we do on the web. Aided by the catalog API, Next.js running on headless Shopify powered by the new and improved Hydrogen.
Yes.
And most importantly, I'm just excited that our teams are working together and that we've been partnering so closely. So thank you so much, Vanessa, for being here with me today.
Thank you for having
me. This was unscripted and very real, and we've been having a lot of fun with it. I think some of you could tell. So thank you so much, everybody, for having us.
Thanks, guys.